But you know how elementary school is, right? Boys and girls have cooties. So I was interested in the boyfriend then, of course. Junior high, and I had to give myself a title. I was the nerdy shy girl, and he was the very popular one. And then high school. That's where it all began. We actually started dating, and it was my sophomore year. And what can I say? He was, I was very surprised that he came up to me wanting to take me out on a date. Okay, every girl wanted him. He could have had any girl, and he wanted me. So, what can I say about Juan? Besides him, in my eyes, very good looking. He was very charming, a gentleman. He was so funny, and he was a family guy. It was all about family to him, and that was a plus for me because I'm all about family as well. And he was very smart. He was very involved in school and activities, and that's another thing I really liked about him. He was very goal-oriented. And of course, we fell in love with each other, madly in love. And you know, you can think back to your high school days, how it was getting the butterflies in your tummy. I, as a girl, started writing his name on my notebook and doodled it with hearts and stars, decorated my locker filled with pictures of us. He was actually my first boyfriend, and obviously the first person I ever fell in love with. And I was crazy about him. We were crazy about each other. We wanted to be on the phone all the time. We wanted to be together all the time. It was Juan and Johanna all the time. And of course, my family at first were like, you're seeing him too much. But of course, I was like, whatever, I'm going to see him whether you want it or not. And while things were great in the relationship, things started to change little by little. He became very jealous, extremely jealous. And at first, that jealousy didn't bother me because who doesn't get jealous? People get jealous, and I thought it was cute at first when he got jealous. I thought that was his way of showing me that he cared about me. Then that jealousy turned into something else. He became very controlling and very possessive over me, started asking me all about what I was doing, where I was, why was I there, calling me and texting me all the time. He would tell me what I could wear, what I couldn't wear, how long or how short I was able to have my hair. He started to have a problem with my girlfriends. I only have 4 best friends, and he didn't like me hanging out with them very much. So he started saying things about them to where I ended up backing away little by little, telling me that they were talking behind my back, or that they were flirting with him behind my back, or they were coming between a relationship, so on. Slowly, I isolated myself also from family, because my time was with Juan and Juan only. That's how he liked it. That's how it was going to be. Because even if I was in my bedroom doing homework, I was as well on the phone with him. I, at times, had about 40 text messages in less than an hour, or 10 voicemails, 100 missed calls, you name it. It was, my phone went off all the time. If I didn't respond in less than a second, he will quickly call me. It was about a year in a relationship where Juan began to hit me. It started with him shoving me, started with him spitting at me, pinching me, pushing me against the locker, to punching me, strangling me, dragging me by my hair. You name it, he did it all. I, of course, hid my bruises with long sleeve shirts, sweaters, and of course, summers here in Michigan are just as much similar to Cleveland, very brutally humid, right? I would still wear a long sleeve shirt to hide the bruises I had on my arms, wear jeans to hide my bruises on my legs. I never really had a black eye. I never had a busted lip. But when my family did notice a bruise on my arm or my leg, of course, what did I do? I made excuses, right? I bumped myself against the doorknob, or it was something, wrestling with my little brother, it was always something. Of course, in the beginning, my family they kind of believed me, but then in time, the excuses got old. But I have to say that my family never really pushed and asking me what was really wrong, what was really going on. They never really sat down with me to really get it out of me, or to at least give me some type of information on healthy relationships, nothing. They just, once I said no, it's nothing, they just left it as that. I was with Juan for the total of 2 years. During those 2 years, I was verbally, physically abused. I broke up with him many times during the relationship. And I kept going back, and I kept going back, and I kept going back. In the beginning, I went back because, yes, I was in love with him, and I cared about him, and I believed when he said that he would change and that he would never do it again. But in the end, reasons why I kept going back, it wasn't just because I loved him. It was also, I was afraid of him. He threatened to kill me. He threatened to kill himself. He threatened to hurt people I really cared about. He would beat me until I said, yes, we're back together. And also, there was a part of me that said, maybe I can change him. Maybe I can do it. I've seen the guy I was in love with before. I've seen him before. So maybe I can change him. But by doing that, I ended up changing myself. I changed myself into a person that I didn't like. So after 2 years, I told myself that I had enough, and I broke up with him. And how I did it this time was I called him. I told him it was over. I made sure that he knew I was serious. I didn't give him a chance to talk. I just hung up on him. After I hung up on him, I went and I told my grandparents about what was really going on in our relationship. And then I went and I called my 4 best friends that I told you about. And I told them that I broke up with him again, that it was over, and it was for real this time. And of course, 1 out of the 4 was the only one that stood by me throughout the whole time. The only one that believed me, the only one that supported me, the only one that held my hand. Because the breakup process wasn't the greatest either. That's where he really began stalking me. He didn't leave me alone. He did not only call my cell phone, but he ended up calling my grandparents' cell phone, my brothers, my cousins, my best friends. Everyone. He even showed up at their house just as much as he showed up at my house. One night, it was February 16. It was Sunday night when he forced himself into my bedroom and he raped me at knife point. Before he left, he threatened that if I said anything to anyone, that he was going to kill me. The person I told burned my house down, and then he left. The next day in school, I ended up telling 2 of my friends, and they, of course, told me I had to tell someone. So after sitting down to talk to me, to convince me to tell someone, I ended up telling a teacher. And then after that, the principal called the police. Juan was immediately arrested. And 4 days after his arrest, he was let out on house arrest. That's all he received. And I was never given a phone. No one ever called me or my family to let us know that he was on house arrest.